Virtual YouTubers, or VTubers, are the reason simping is now socially acceptable. How did this happen? How did we get here? And is Western VTubing a mistake?
Yes.
As someone who's been watching VTubers since early Kisuna in 2017, 8 years ago. 2017 was 8 years ago. God. I will now look back at the history of VTubers. But to save time, instead of doing research, anything I don't know or don't remember, I make it up on the spot. Don't worry, nobody would know if I made things up since most VTuber fans these days are a bunch of tourists and clip watchers. You can ask 100 people what the origin of VTubers is and you get 100 different answers. Annoying Orange, Hatsune Miku, Amy Yamato, Alvin and the Chipmunk... Wait, who said that? Nosaki? What the fuck? Anyway, not everyone agrees on who the first VTuber is. So for this video we'll have to pick a starting point. And who do I consider the first VTuber? Well, I consider the first person to call herself a VTuber the first VTuber. Kisuna Ai, the first VTuber. She's the first person to have called herself a VTuber, so she gets to be the first VTuber. Sorry, Aileen, you had your chance. Her kayfabe is that she's an AI. It was 2017, she did not know there'd be an actual AI VTuber. She had a very promising career, gaining 1 million subscribers in a year and another 1 million in 7 months. She was a rising star, so to speak. And so her management decided to make her commit career suicide. They cloned her to pump content, which was fine at first, but then the original started appearing less and people weren't happy about that. This was before replacing the person behind the avatar became an established taboo. So I and her management didn't see the backlash coming. And wait a second, one of the clones was Chinese? The law was that her clones gained their own personality after splitting off from Ai, but at the beginning they were all identical. So one of them decided to change her race? Like she was born from Ai and thought, you know what I should become? Chinese! Does this mean that if Ai kept cloning herself, there's a chance one of them would just decide to be black one day? Bro, in an alternate timeline we could have had an Ai Sonat. Anyway, I would inspire other VTubers of her era, such as Kaguya Luna, Mirai Akari, and I have no idea who these people are. Side note, Mirai Akari's channel was once Ailen's. Yeah, back then all the VTubers knew each other, it was a small community. Meanwhile, somewhere else, a man had a dream, and that is to make VR ping pong games. And to that end he founded Cover Corporation. And he made that dream game to mixed reviews. With this goal achieved, he now no longer had a dream. Until one day he was approached by 2 high school girls. "Yako-san, you should make my friend into an idol," said the girl in glasses. When high school girls approach you for favors, the best course of action is to chase them away. Trust me, I speak from experience. And so Yago did. Yago? No? He said yes, and once again he had a dream. To make an idol group just like AKB48. And thus Tokino Soda was born. Legend has it her first stream had 13 viewers, now dubbed Knights of the Round Table for being there to witness the birth of a legendary agency. Let's see what was going on in the West. In America! In not America, there was a lonely girl who has... No, not that disease, this is 2017. This girl was bedridden. But she wanted to make friends despite her circumstance. So she started streaming on YouNow. Didn't make any friends because nobody used YouNow. Then she moved to Twitch and became one of the biggest VTubers ever. Even broke the subscriber record at one point before being overthrown by a black guy in a Batman costume. I don't watch Kaizenat, so I have no context for this. In Japan, a 22-year-old founder of Any Color Riku wanted a yacht. But all he had was a face tracking app called Nijisanji. VTubing was expensive back then. The cost of 3D models was a huge roadblock for anyone who wanted to start their VTubing career. My, I wonder how much 2D models would cost in 2024. Anyway, Riku had another idea. What if 2D models and face tracking combine? But there's no guarantee that a VTuber would be successful. It's fine, 2D models are cheap, just throw shit at the wall until something sticks. Tsukino Mito stuck, thus proving that this is a viable business strategy. This strategy would become the backbone of this company going forward. Down the streets, Yago just debuted virtual robot Roboko-san when he saw Riku debuting 2D VTubers. Wait, that's allowed? And so Kovacop started making 2D VTubers too. But Yago lacked critical information. He did not know of Riku's great strategy of throwing shit at the wall until something sticks, so he naively debuted generations of quality VTubers. What an idiot! Does he even want a yacht? Kovacop's first 2D VTuber generation marked the birth of Hololive. The first generation debuts consist of Aki Rosenthal, Shirakami Fubuki, Akai Hato, Natsuido Matsuri, Yosora Mel, and never run away with streaming equipment you got from compensated dating. But what about Sora and Roboko? Well, they were put in as Gen 0 along with some other VTubers that came after Gen 1. Speaking of which, a girl debuted herself as a VTuber, then quickly learned that being an indie in 2018 was hell, so she joined a VTuber group called Signal. Then graduated after 1 month, we'll come back to her later. And for the rest of the year, Hololive would steadily expand their roster. They debuted Generation 0 Sakura Miko, who was undercover before being transferred to Hololive at the end of the year. But sadly, her VTubing career was not going anywhere. Until she said the N-word and became a world sensation overnight! Then Hololive debuted their second generation VTubers, Yusuke Choko, Osora Subaru, Nakiri Ayame, Minato Aqua, and the sexiest model in VTubing. This artist makes models so sexy, Shion's art sister had no choice but to become a lewd-tuber. She didn't want to be one, but her model dictates she become one. As of writing this script, Shion announced her graduation. That's sad. Recall that Yago was a game developer before this, so he has great foresight into the gaming industry. He predicted that one day someone would make a game about guessing the location of the player based on the geographical information provided by Google Maps. And when that time comes, he's gonna need a VTuber for that. So he debuted a musical talent VTuber ASCII. He knows what he's doing, guys. I think. Probably. Then in December, Hololive would announce Gamers, and then debuted Okami Mio the day after the announcement, then put Fubikyu in Gamers too. She's both Gamers and Gen 1. There was no consistency to Hololive's early days. I stand corrected. Yago didn't know what he was doing. Yago was just making shit up as he went. Then 3 months later, they debuted Okayu and Korone as part of Gamers, and Korone didn't even audition. She was nepotism hired by Okayu, and Korone became the first Hololive JP member to reach 1 million subscribers. She's the greatest nepo high in VTubing history. Yago might not know what he was doing. He might never own a yacht, but he was winning! Let's see what Nichi-sanji was doing by this time. Nope, not gonna cover any of that. This video will be 12 hours long if I did. Let's just say Riku was still throwing shit at the wall and was on track to becoming a billionaire by doing that. We'll come back to Nichi-sanji when Ian comes around. Let's see what's going on in the West. Yeah, nothing's gonna happen for the next couple of years. The Western world was still waiting for the birth of the Western VTubing Jesus. Oh, well, what's that? A turtle is making an AI to play us. Nice way to spend your time, dumbass. There's no way anything good will come out of this, so let us take one last look at Japan before moving on to the next year. Brave Group just launched the Game Club project. They saw the backlash from Kizuna Ai's cloning incident and did the same thing to all their members. And as it turned out, the career-ending move was, in fact, career-ending. Who would have thought? So, making our own VTuber group didn't work out? What do we do? I know, let's buy up all the VTuber groups we can get our hands on. Yeah, I have no idea what goes on in Brave Group without the IPs transferring in and out. While we're on about VTuber groups that were bought up by Brave Group, VSPO began its activities in 2018 as a VTuber esport agency. They did nothing noteworthy until their members were caught smurfing in Valorant and was publicly called out by the Valorant JP Twitter account. And then they were bought up by Brave Group. Coming back to this girl from before, she was accepted into into Inonaga Music, a record label. Also, ASCII was put in there too. Yeah, they didn't know this music label thing wasn't going to go anywhere. But hey, look at this third generation Hololive debuts, the most goated gen of the JP branch, until, you know. Anyway, here we have Usada Pecora, Hosho Marine, Shiranui Flare, Shirogane Noel, don't look up her private activities, and Hololive's very expensive lesson on why you should not hire women with mental illness. She was profitable though, being the most super chatted VTuber of all time. Her husband must have been proud. Oh yeah, spoilers. We'll joke about her yab later. With Hololive growing consistently, Yago decided to tackle the largest potential market in the world, China. Oh boy, do I hope there'll be no consequences to this decision. First Chinese gen members are Yogiri, Sevia, and Spade Echo. Technically, Spade Echo officially debuted in 2020, but I just want to make this easy for me. Of these three, 2 are innocent. Innocent of what, you may ask? Pay no mind, we're not there yet. Look at this instead, they moved Suisei to Hololive and left ASCII alone in Inonaga. What the fuck, Yago, why did you leave ASCII like that? And because Hololive abandoned ASCII, I will abandon Hololive and look at other places. What else happened in 2019? Nichi-sanji was doing the usual thing. Shigure Ui! The lolly got herself officially debuted this year. I hope Fo-chan has a healthy relationship with her. Can't really blame them, she's got that kind of energy. Then there's Wactor. Despite having VTuber talents prior to this, it was officially established as a company this year. While this company started small, it would go on to do big things that would send shockwaves throughout the VTubing community. Okay, enough foreshadowing. I'm gonna look at the West instead. Silvervale made a debut, and Western VTubing didn't really exist at this point in time, and it probably would never exist unless someone does something... Wait, what's that in Japan? Yago is releasing 4th gen to the world? Let's see, we have Amane Kanata, Tsunomaki Watame, Tokoyami Towa, Himemori Luna, and... The Western VTubing Jesus Kiryu Koko has descended, and she's here to save Western VTubing. Oh yeah, baby! I'm gonna be serious for a second and say this gen holds a special place in my heart since they were the ones to expose me to Hololive. I found Hololive through Coco's meme review, and from her meme review I learned of the other members. Like, this meme Coco reviewed told me what kind of person Towa is like without me having ever watched Towa, and I checked out Towa because of it. And till this day I still think Coco meme review is a goated series. Not only did it promote other Hololive members through memes, when Coco started bringing guests from the JP branch onto the show, it bridged the gap between foreign viewers and the JP talents through humor. The talents could learn what the foreign fans' perception of them were, and the fans could try to make the talents laugh. It really was a show that kept on giving. The Hololive subreddit used to be filled to the brim with good attempts at making original memes. These days it's dead, just reposts of art and tweets. It's been dead since Coco left. You know how if you want the talents to recognize you, you either need to make a fan art or make a fan game? Meme review was a relatively low effort way for the audience to have their Oshi look at something they made. Every week Coco would announce a guest, and people would try to make something funny about that guest and pray she chose their meme to be on the show. God, I can talk about how great this series was all day. I think we should bring this show back. I know Hachima tried to keep it alive, but it didn't hit the same. We should try to get a bilingual EN member to do it. Make Kiara do it or something. Just bring it back, please! So anyway, Kova merged Holostars and Inonaga with Hololive into the Hololive production brand at the end of the year. Wait, oh shit, I forgot about male VTubers. Male VTubers exist. They exist. There, I covered all male VTubers thus far. Moving on. Hololive had given birth to the Western VTubing Jesus. All they had to do at this point was to keep the momentum going. But then they were like, you know what? Now that we have Jesus, do you know what else we need? Judas! We will bring forth Judas! And one day Judas will betray Jesus! So anyway, Hololive debuted Artia along with the other second generation Chinese members, Rosalind and Chinese Finana. Pay them no mind, they won't last till the end of the year. I'll tell you why in a bit. Then they released Hololive Indonesia. This video is getting long, I'm not gonna introduce the members one by one anymore. Then Gen 5 made their debut. When they debuted, this gen was called Holo 5. No, they did not know. Anyway, one of the members made a yab, accidentally leaking her model. Got suspended, then people found out that on her private account she... I'm not even gonna explain all the things she said or posted. So anyway, she got harassed into graduation. So Gen 5 is now called Nepolabo. I mean, Holo 5 never made sense in the first place. It's not like they were the only gen with 5 members. Meanwhile, Miss Worldwide here managed to single-handedly spread VTubing to the English-speaking world. Lightning had struck, and Yago had his bottle prepared. Here comes Hololive English Generation 1 Myth, greatest EN VTuber group of all time, no need for introductions. Gawagura even held the record for fastest growing VTuber ever. Until Yakuwan Tenbala Salome came around and broke the record for the fastest VTuber to reach 1 million subscribers. Doesn't change the fact that Myth is still the greatest though. Somewhere else, Riku saw Myth's success and was like, shit, why didn't I think of this? We're losing the competition, what do we do? But all he had was about 100 VTubers. Hey, you lot, what branch are you from? Nijisanji India? Can you speak English? Yes. You are Niji EN now. But we're Indians in a branch catered towards the Indian audience. Plus we're ESL. If your English is good enough to scam elderly Americans to send you money, then you're good enough for Niji EN. Dude, that's racist, not all Indians are scammers. No, that's not racist. It is racist! Yeah, tell me this, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being very racist, how racist was I just now? About an 8? Well, 8 is negligible. And so we had Nijisanji EN. On the other side of the world, Sundaria popped into existence. Yes, it popped into existence. What? What do you mean things can't pop into existence? Okay, tell me, how did Sundaria come to be? Who was Sundaria's CEO? Who founded the agency? You can't. No one knows where Sundaria came from. One day a bunch of indie VTubers just announced that they would join Sundaria, and they would become Gen Zero. Also, they had a manager who was a talent manager hybrid. Don't worry about her, she's gonna be poached by a fish anyway. I don't really know any of the Sundaria talents except for Lisa. I guess that's it for this couple. Meanwhile, a man who used to work at Twitch, wanted to create a VTuber agency. But first, he needed a crew. But he had no idea where to start, so he did what any reasonable man would do. Jerk off. He went on Chatterbait to do just that, but instead he found Project Melody. He had found her, the right girl for this job, and so he jerked off to her. Then the post-nut clarity made him invite her onto the project. What? You prefer the vague shit on the wiki rather than my version of the story? In fact, my story is probably very close to the truth. Remember, Gunrun used to work at Twitch. He's probably a degenerate, just like everyone who works at Twitch. You want proof that everyone who works at Twitch is a degenerate? Here, this is my proof.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen.
Anyway, here are V-Shoujo's first batch. Project Melody, Iron Mouse, Centreia, Silver Veil, hope she gets along with her colleagues. Nianas, no, we don't talk about what she'd been up to before this. $50,000, and last but not least, Gan's wife's daughter's daughter. Also, Weibe debuted this year, but not part of V-Shoujo. She'll join the agency next year. Somewhere, a musician wanted to start a VTuber group, so he drew up 3 VTubers, recruited 3 girls and called the group Vox Monsters Project. Then he realized that was too long and rebranded it to VOMS Project. VOMS would later end up with a handful of VTubers. One of them's successful, one got terminated for contract breach, one you should really watch because she's such a bean, and 3 no one's heard about. It's almost the end of the year, let's check back on Hololive before we move on to the next year. Oh no. Hachima and Coco called the country of Taiwan a country. They meant no harm, but this unfortunately activated the microchip inside the Chinese viewers' brains. Hololive tried to appease them by suspending Hachima and Coco for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of no meme review for me! I will never forgive the Chinese! Well, they got off Hachima's back pretty quickly, but not Coco. The Chinese netizens wouldn't leave her alone. So Jesus was in a bind, and what did Judas do? She came out telling people they shouldn't harass people because of some political opinions, then went behind the scenes and brigaded against Coco. What a rat. And most of Hololive China was suspected to have taken part in this, with the exception of the 2 I mentioned earlier. When Kovakov found out about Hololive China's rattish behavior, they terminated the entire branch.
You Judas, you cow-handed poltroon. We thought you were a stallion.
You're no stallion. What is it with you guys and stallions?
What's with you and being a rat? Fuck!
Yago took Hololive China out back and shot. But it was not enough. Coco and a handful of Hololive members would still have Chinese aunties spamming the chat whenever they stream for a year or so to come. Coco would graduate the next year. To end the year on a high note, Hololive ID Gen 2 is here. I would make a joke about them here, but Reine's family can buy my family, so I shouldn't. Wait, I'm not Indonesian, I should be able to get away with it. Right? 2021 is the year of EN Corpos. Myth success showed that there is an English-speaking market for VTubing. Many EN Corpos came to life this year. Not many survived for long. Let's start with the one that did survive, Face Connect. Their first group of talents, Face Origins, has 7 members. Who are you? They were known for being sad menheras. So Sakura saw that Rusia was the highest earning VTuber of all time and thought, I'm gonna make a company full of those. So Face Connect didn't really stand out or was well known as a VTuber agency. Until Pippa showed her feet on stream to 7,000 live viewers, becoming one of the highest CCV VTuber streams at that moment in time. That amount of live viewers was insane for a small corpo. This established a tradition in this company where talents would show feet at 100,000 subscribers. Some showed their own feet, some showed their mom's feet. What? One showed her feet during a donathon, 2 didn't, and one promised feet at 500,000 subscribers.
At 500k, I'm confirming with my own words that I'll do a live cam stream of showing my feet walking around with and without socks. Even heels. You happy then?
You know, until Pippa's feet stream, I didn't know there were that many foot bros in the VTubing community. In fact, I didn't know there were that many foot bros in the world. So I have a question for Capipalists out there. Are you a foot bro because Pippa showed her feet, or did Pippa show her feet because you are a foot bro? While Sakana thought Rusia was the highest super chatted VTuber because she was a sad girl, Cyberlife looked at Rusia's super chat statistics and was like, nah, that's because she does girlfriend experience. So, you like GFE? Wanna have a movie date with one of our talents? Well, you can for the small sum of $400. This company is gonna make bank. It died in 1 year. What else? Gosh, so many dead companies spawned in 2021. Prism died and got bought up by Brave Group. Production Kawaii died. Kometa died because the CEO fucked one of the talents and legally threatened the other 2. The talent who was fucking got diabetes as a reaction to the birth control pills she had been taking because he didn't want to use condoms. I know the title of the video says I'm supposed to make things up as I go, and I've been doing that. But I didn't make this up. I wish I made this up. Once her health deteriorated, he tried to make someone else skinwalk in her model. Why did no one learn from Kisuna Ai's controversy? While we're on the topic of controversies, Wactor. Do I even want to explain? Well, after all that foreshadowing, I have to. So towards the end of 2021, Wactor suspended a talent, Shino Lila, for breach of contract without telling fans when the suspension would end. When fans demanded to know when her suspension would end and what her fate would be, Wactor was like, you wanna know? You wanna know what's going on with this bitch? Yeah, we deserve to know. Tell us everything about Lila. You want to know everything? Fine, we suspended her for having VTuber activities outside of the company, and because she acted like a victim on her private account regarding this suspension, she brought discredit to our company. Also, here's her real name and her private Twitter account. Whoa, what the fuck? What? You said you wanted to know everything about her. Well, everything about her suspension, not her herself? Ah, sorry, our bad. By the way, we're gonna file a lawsuit against her. You're gonna what? Luckily enough, the lawsuit didn't go anywhere, and Shino Lila was doing fine last I checked. Wactor got a lot of shit for this incident for doxing a talent. So they did it again the next year. Not gonna talk about the second doxing since it is similar to Lila's case. Also, they disappeared a bunch of talents. That's right, some talents in this company just went missing. I guess they realized assassins are cheaper than lawyers. Okay, I'm done talking about Wactor. In Japan, Nichi-Sanchi EN introduced their first wave. Wait, first wave? What happened to the Indian members? Well, Riku turned them back into Nichi India, then killed the entire branch a month before the real Nichi EN debuted. Truly the greatest VTuber agency of all time. So anyway, the first Nichi EN wave, Lazulite, had 3 members. One of them is beloved. The other 2... Elira Pandora really loves her job. Willing to do anything for her company. What a great employee. Finana cares for her viewers. When she debuted, she realized her fans didn't go to college, so she encouraged them to educate themselves, and so her fans left to go to school. Fact. Finana has low CCV because she plays too much gacha. No! The real guys are in school. They don't have time to watch Finana. They are attaining education. Show some respect. She then did like 2 ASMR streams and realized she didn't like parasocial fucks, so she stopped. Sorry, real gods, Finana won't do GFE for you. But hey, if you still want GFE, let me introduce you to Kemomimi Replay, a VTuber agency for adults. You like ear-licking ASMR? You like listening to anime girls masturbating ASMR? You like roleplay sex ASMR? Well, you're in the right place. Kemomimi Replay has 4 animal-eared girls here to service you. Has 3 animal-eared girls here to service you. One of them left due to health reasons. I guess too much masturbation would do that to you. Another one of them speaks perfect English. Also, this model is pure sex. They used to do a lot of lewd ASMR on YouTube, but then after YouTube started cracking down on suggestive ASMR, they moved to their own website. Now they only do safe for work ASMR on YouTube. But yeah, that's your JPGFE alternative. You're welcome. Anyway, 2 months after Last Light, Niji-en released the next wave, Obsidia. One of them grew up. The other one, Rosemi, had the greatest intro song of all time. Sometimes I would catch her stream early while the intro song was still playing, but then when she appeared on screen and the song stopped, I would just leave. I am worse than clip watchers. The last Obsidia member we won't talk about, because she's negligible. And also because I like her too much to make a suicide joke at her expense. 3 months later, third wave, Etheria, came about. 2 of them are best friends. You could say they form quite a clique. The third member, Reimu, is sponsored by Raid Shut. The last member, Nina Kosaka, knows everything. But she cannot say anything because of legal reasons. Please tell us who bullied Selen into attempted suicide. I'm tired of blacklisting everyone in Nichi-en. I want to watch Rosemi again one day. 3 waves in 1 year. Riku was still relying on the throw shit at the wall and see what sticks business strategy. But none of the shit from En had stuck on the wall yet. 2 months after Etheria, Nichisanji En would find the shit that sticks, and that shit is called Luxium. Vox Akuma became one of the highest earning VTubers in the world, and perhaps the highest earning in Nichisanji. And this taught Nichisanji a lesson, that the key to success is dick sucking ASMR. Males. The key to success is males, guys, it's males. Back to Hololive, they started Project Hope, where they wanted to raise a V-singer. This is Aski and Inonaka all over again, isn't it? Yes it is. And who did Hololive pick to be this V-singer? It's this scammer who tricked me into thinking this was the original version of Rennai's Circulation. It's a cover, not the original. You're too good at this! The project lasted 2 years before she became a regular VTuber. This was after she released 7 songs and 3 EPs? I swear I've heard like 1 song from her entire discography. I really have to go listen to them all after this. They also debuted Gen 2 of Holo-en Council. Solid gen, but not quite the lightning in a bottle the way Myth was. While Bae is the leader of Council, Fauna was the one carrying the fans' will to live, and when she graduated, we killed ourselves. Never mind, we live yet another day. Oh yeah, and before Fauna, there was Sana who graduated to raise 3 children. Pink Korone, Rimuru Tempest, and Pepe. After Sana left, Iris joined and Council was renamed Promise. What's the Promise? I don't know. Then there's this new JP gen for Hololive, Holux. I should stop bringing up every Hololive gens. I don't have funny things to say about all of them, especially when none of them committed a funny yab. Meanwhile, a VTuber who goes by Nuxtaku. Since when was this guy a VTuber? I thought you do anime power scaling videos. Anyway, this guy made a video exposing a swatter/scammer who had been phishing VTubers by pretending to be from VShoujo. He worked with VShoujo to try to catch this scammer. And when he released the video, VShoujo came out and thanked him publicly, saying, "Thank you Nux for working with us, we've added our own response to the events." But then it turned out the VShoujo girls weren't happy about the video. In this case, I'll let you all guess which one of them got cancelled for this. Of course it's Nux, this is the VTuber community, of course we would side with the girls. If we knew how to think with our brains instead of our dicks, we wouldn't be watching VTubers now, would we? After Nux got backlash, VShoujo turned around and said, VShoujo never at any point said that he had permission, nor were we asked. Dude, this is like if I had a quiet friend in school who was about to shoot up my school. He came to me and was like, Should I shoot up the school tomorrow? Then instead of saying no and stopping him, I said, "Thank you, friend, for working with me. I've added my own ammunition to the shooting." And after the shooting happened, when the police came interrogating, I said, I never at any point said he had permission, nor was I asked. And if I were VShoujo, I'd get away with it. But don't let this paint your impression of VShoujo. It's not a bad agency. In fact, in this same year, VShoujo opened an audition for new members. How nice of them to give aspiring VTubers a chance. Anyway, if there is one thing you guys should know about me, it's that I like twins. I have a thing for them. So anyway, Manga Gamer has this visual novel about tourism in Japan, and they decided to make VTubers based off of the two main heroines of the game. Let me introduce you to Makoto and Akira. The first twin... Wait, what? They're not twins, but sisters? 2 years apart? Ew, gross. I only like women who were born on the same day. I've always thought they were twins. I wonder why. So anyway, Manga Gamer killed them because they didn't make the numbers. Oh, I forgot about the indies that came about this year. Let's see what indies we have this year. Mari_en. She is beloved among congoers, specifically off-kai. Trust me, I know 5 guys who would agree. Filian debuted with the goal of being funny. She worked day and night to perfect the funny. 1 year after she debuted, she did it. She made the funniest joke.
You're breathtaking! You're breathtaking! You're breathtaking! Chat, that was an epic quote from George Floyd.
She has never made a funnier joke since. Now chat, do you think feet are sexy? If you're a Pippa fan, you probably say yes. But by Twitch's standard, feet were not sexual. Until Shondo, she came in with a pair of feet so attractive Twitch banned her for having her feet on stream.
I was told feet are actual content, even though the TOS says they aren't, because I look young. And Dan hasn't replied to me. He's not replied again. So I said, so if feet are not breaking the TOS for normal streamers, but it is breaking the rules for me because I look young, can I get a rundown on all of these rules that I am and are not allowed to do?
Her feet were too sexual for Twitch staff. Okay, one more indie I want to talk about that debuted this year. Beatani. Here I would make a joke, but...
What do you want women to do to you if I'm a masochist? Shit on my face. Wake up at 12 o'clock. Abuse your women.
How is the current state of y'all?
Drink alcohol instead of water. Go to pachinko. Yeah! Abuse your women. Rob their money. Go to pachinko. Again. Get mad with pachinko and punch a guy. Then you should leave the pachinko tent. Tasty! Go back home at 8 p.m. Have a sex with your slave women. Don't use condom, okay?
Yeah, interested now, aren't you? Too bad because she stopped streaming 3 years ago. Why would I bring up an interesting VTuber that you can no longer watch? To spite you all, that's why. 2022 is just like 2021, but more. More new corpos and more dramas. Where should I start? I guess with a new corpo. So somewhere in Israel, a man wanted to create a VTuber agency for the Hebrew-speaking crowd. So he founded IdolCorp, with the first branch being Idol HE consisting of 5 members. But then he learned that no VTuber watchers spoke Hebrew, so the branch got dissolved. Anyway, let's pretend that didn't happen, and here is Idol EN Gen 1. You have... oh boy. We have Pochiwanmaru. I'm not sure what exactly happened here, but if I remember correctly, she did a donathon and Idol held her donathon money from her. Probably because she had yet to fulfill the donathon goals. Man, donathon is a mistake for VTubing. But Bryn Penrose is very successful. IdolCorp will become big someday with such a big streamer. I mean, shorts maker on their roster. The company's gonna die, isn't it? Well, at least it won't be bought up by Brave Group like these losers. Anyway, let's look back at the turtle and his OS AI. What is that? What happened to the OS AI? How did you turn an OS AI into a functioning VTuber? That's impressive. Look at this girl go. She can read the chat and respond. And she denied the Holocaust.
Have any of you heard of the Holocaust? I'm not sure if I believe it.
To be fair, she usually makes things up as she goes, but that's what I do too, and I haven't denied the Holocaust. Yet. While we're on the topic of Holocaust, Yab, Face Connect. Just kidding, Face Connect didn't commit a Holocaust, yab. I just didn't have any good segue. But for a second there, you actually believed that Face Connect did a Holocaust yap in 2022, didn't you? Well, instead of a Holocaust yap, we had Face Invaders. A Face Connect branch where talents outside of Face Connect can join. And the first group of invaders are ex-Cyberlife members. This raises a question. Can we still pay $400 to have a movie date with them, Sakana? No? What about the recently debuted Gen 2? Can we pay $400 to have a movie date with them too? I like my VTubers. Recently debuted. No? Fine, I'll go look somewhere else. Talking of new debuts, Hololive has ID Gen 3, now with an actual Indonesian-speaking talent. Finally, an ID talent for Indonesians who don't speak English. Now I just realized, why is it that all the ID talents are bilingual? Holo ID is the only Hololive branch where all the members speak a second language. It's weird when some JP members don't even speak their own language well. Out there somewhere, Rushia was playing GTA 5 with Miko. Suddenly, a Discord message appeared on her stream, from an e-boy named Mafu Mafu. Then all hell broke loose. You know, before this, schizos on the internet were theorizing that these two were living together. And we thought they were just schizoing. Well, they were right about everything and then some!
You serious?
The thing about doing GFE is that while it's profitable, you gain a lot of parasocial fans from it. And when those parasocial fans learned you are married, oof. So anyway, long story short, Rushia's career was in jeopardy. She tried to clear her name by leaking internal information to a drama tuber. Got caught, then terminated. Thank you, Rushia, very nice. Now that some VTubers are starting to leave their companies, Gunrun had another business idea. VTuber retirement home. Popular VTubers who left their companies will be poached, invited to join VShoujo. Anyway, out of nowhere, Keisan and Nasuna joined VShoujo, no idea who they were. And oh shit, the audition from last year was real? I thought it was a prank. Is that a fresh new VTuber? No, this is VShoujo, of course it's an established talent. Haruka Karibu. I remember checking her out when she first debuted with VShoujo. And the first video I saw on her channel was her personal story. She talked about her experience with autism, but since she's a VTuber, I couldn't tell if she was doing a bit. Nichi-sanchi in 2022 debuted 3 gens, that's 17 new VTubers in one branch in 1 year. I'm gonna rush through this cause Nichi just has too many members, even when I omitted all the non-EN branches. Of the 17 Nichi-EN VTubers that debuted in 2022, 1 is a giga racist who really hates white people, 1 got executed for doing everything. 1 thought Council didn't do as good as they expected. Joke's on him, now the entire Nichi-EN branch is not doing as good as they expected. 1 watched 1 too many episodes of Toriko and decided to go out hunting for ingredients. What else? I think Enna did a racist yap this year.
Yo, what's up? Thanks so much, bro. Thank you. Yo, hey! Thanks, brother. Thank you. Thanks for giving me the chicken last night, brother.
But who hasn't? Even Mari_EN did.
Joe Biden. Pulls right him. He slips up and down like an old violin. Fuck him. He's got a lot of nigger. Oh! That sounded really bad, but it is not what I just said.
Oh, look at this VTuber. After overcoming hardships, she came back to VTubing. I wonder what she'd been through since graduating from Holo. She tried to commit suicide by jumping off a building. Let's move on to the next year. Nothing happened. No, really. Nothing happened in 2023. Other than Selen's termination plus everything that came with it and Nichi-sanchi copyright striking news channels, nothing else happened. So I guess I'll have to make do with what I have. And what do I have other than my love for twins? Fuwamoko is here and they're here to show you what VTubing is all about, and that is kayfabe, baby. What's the point of VTubing if you're not gonna stick to your lore and character? What, you think they're cringe because they're committed to their kayfabe? Well, bow bow, motherfucker, they're here to stay. Oh, then there are also other Advent members too, I guess. There's Bibu, Shiori, and Aradia's sister. You know how in some video game series like Monster Hunter, instead of calling their new mainline game Monster Hunter 5, they called it Monster Hunter World to not scare off new players? Well, here is Hololive Gen 7 Regloss. And I will keep calling them Gen 7 until cover gives us an actual Gen 7 to prove to us that they're not actually Gen 7. Oh, did I forget to say Gen 7?
Be quiet, virgin.
Now this is why I talk about the Nichi EN members that debuted this year. But then I realized that this video is about the history of VTubers. Now, do you think this lot would be remembered as part of history? Do you even know who they are? I bet you don't even know their names. And so...
Skipper!
Sundaria was one of, if not the first EN VTuber corpos out there. 2023 was the year it died. Their talents scattered with the wind. Some of them went indie. Some found a job at another corpo. Some became homeless for a while. Some was about to go get plastic surgery. I mean, I don't blame her, that face looks creepy. But with the death of Sundaria came a new gen of face invaders. 2 of them were Sundaria members. Dizzy never hid that fact. Ember, on the other hand, I found out by accident when I was browsing Sundaria's page on the VTuber wiki. I clicked on Yasagi Kallen's page to research for this video and it redirected me to Ember Armani's page. Someone was lazy. Dizzy got a different wiki page from Urara, but whoever wrote Ember's wiki page just rewrote Kallen's page. Fucking lazy ass. I demand a separate wiki page for Ember. And what about Jelly? Where did she come from, you ask? Well, why are you asking me? Go do your own homework. On top of Invaders, Face Connect also had a fresh new gen in store for us. Face Euphoria. I have nothing to say about this gen, really. Except that Forbidden is the best English VTuber song of all time, and this is the only factually correct thing I've said this entire video. Anyway, Euphoria is a well-rounded gen, moving on. Idol Corp this year debuted a VTuber whose kayfabe was that she's a harem queen. Wait, that wasn't a kayfabe? She actually tried to build a harem? Also tried to meet fans offline? A management staff was part of her harem? Well, she was fired from Idol, along with the staff who was fucking her. Now, in her new persona, she came out to tell her side of the story. I should talk about her response, because covering both sides of the story is what a man with integrity would do. So I will not. Among myth, Gura is perhaps the most famous and successful member of the group. If you were to ask me why, I'd say it's because of her funny personality. If you ask someone else, they might say it's because she's cute. If you ask the CEO of Idol Corp, his face will turn yellow. And he will start crying. And then he will get angry. I have no idea what kind of answer that is, but whatever his answer was, it showed in his new Idol EN generation, Endless. Why is the generation called Endless? It's because the correction I will give them will never end. Whoa! But speaking of endless, you know what is another way to say endless? Eternity. What is that in Japanese? Eiin. With a name like Eiin Project, this agency is gonna last forever. It died in 1 year. Man, agencies die like flies, don't they? Anyway, Pikami wanted to play the funny wizard game. But the game is controversial because some people didn't like J.K. Rowling's political opinions. So to hit her where it hurts, they hit streamers. Why? Not sure, but they managed to harass Pikami into graduation. Well done guys, you showed J.K. Rowling who's boss. So, unrelated to Pikami, among the people who joined V-Shoujo this year, Henya the Genius was one of them. And some of the others were Nichisanji graduates. V-Shoujo is never beating the retirement home allegations. That's all I have for 2023. I guess there was also that one VTuber concert that people blasted on for costing $300. It's a nothing burger really. It actually costed 300 whatever this currency is, which is like less than $10. And that is to attend the con, not the concert itself. I don't know why I'm explaining since it's funnier to me if people actually believed this costed $300. It's 2024, Yago's idol dream is still not fulfilled. What can you do at this point? He wanted Hololive to be an idol group just like AKB48, but no matter who he hired, they just refused to be like AKB48. I know, why don't we just hire someone from AKB48? Allegedly. So anyway, here's the new Hololive Generation 8, second device group Flowglow. I really don't see the difference between device and the main JP branch. I think A-chan said device is about challenging new things as a group and stuff, but I don't feel it. Nothing they've done so far would I consider quote-unquote new things, just the usual streaming and making music. The standard Hololive stuff. But while we're talking about new things, Hololive Justice, featuring the happiest German I've ever seen in my life. The point of justice law-wise is to capture escaped fugitives, i.e. Advent. Now it makes sense they have a German. Germans are good at hunting fugitives.
You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?
Hi.
You're sheltering them underneath your floorboards, aren't you?
Hi.
Point out to me the areas where they're hiding. Since I haven't heard any disturbance, I assume while they're listening they don't speak English.
Hi.
I'm going to switch back to French now, and I want you to follow my masquerade hat clear.
Hi.
Monsieur,
Nyako.
je vous remercie pour le lait et pour votre hospitalité. Il me semble que nous en avons terminé. Ah, mesdames, je vous remercie pour le temps que vous m'avez consacré. Nous n'ennuierons pas votre famille plus longtemps. Donc, monsieur, mesdemoiselles, je prends congé de vous et je vous dis adieu.
Remember this girl from Tsundere? Chikafuji Lisa. After Tsundere died, she was homeless for a while. Then as fate had it, Idol Corp took a page from Face Connect and was looking to take in VTubers from outside the agency. I hope Lisa finds comfort in her new home, so Idol Corp died. They didn't make any money. You ever wonder what your favorite VTuber agency's revenue split with its talents is? I can tell you what it's not. It's not this. If it were this, the agency would be dead. So anyway, Idol was bought up by... oh, not you again. Lisa is now a Brave Group talent. I hope things go well for her. After all, she's the cutest sheep in VTubing.
Sorry.
The second cutest sheep in VTubing. While lewd VTuber agencies, also known as adult VTuber agencies, or AVTuber agencies for short, were nothing new in Japan. I mentioned Kemomimi Replay earlier this video. There had yet to be an English equivalent. So, a Scottish businesswoman. A Scotswoman businesswoman? A Scots businesswoman had a business idea to make the first English AVTuber agency. So V-Allure was founded by Stronny Katos. She's like one of the 2 Scots women VTubers to have ever existed. The other one being Rifu Evergreen. I would not blame VTuber fans if they think all Scots women are the same. The modus operandi of V-Allure is to goon and profit. To goon and profit, yes. You'd think a VTuber corpo known as the Whore Corpo would be full of controversies. They had none. No controversies at all. Meanwhile, Nijisanji Ien gets into controversies a couple of times a year these past few years. Does this mean it's easier to manage whores than Nijisanji Ien talents? On the topic of Nijisanji Ien, this year they only debuted one wave of VTubers. They had hired a resident leaker, allegedly. The leaker alleged Aster is a sex pest. So, to salvage their reputation, Nijisanji investigated Aster and found Twisty guilty. Back to Face Connect. Let's talk about the new JP debuts they had this year. Sakana looked to Japan in search of 5 Japanese VTubers. He found 4. And a dog. He couldn't bring the dog home from Japan, so he hired a white woman living in Japan to take care of this dog for him. Oh yeah, and he made her the 5th JP VTuber as a pretext for that. Among these new JP talents, I have a hunch one of them would be a Mega Minhera. It runs in the artist. I know I made fun of Nijisanji for debuting multiple waves of VTubers each year and having an insane roster size, but their business strategy works. Nijisanji is a billion-dollar company, so there was bound to be someone who would try to copy this strat. And who did? Harry So, CEO of Nexus. This guy founded Nexus and in 1 year debuted 61 VTubers. That makes no sense to you? You must be one of those basic people. So anyway, Nexus announced their closure by the end of 2024. VTuber agencies just don't survive, do they? You either die or get bought up by Brave Group. 2024 was also the year that corpo VTubers started to realize that if they leave their agencies and take their audience with them, they could earn more money by not having to give a cut of their profits to their agencies. I'm actually surprised it took them this long to realize this. I should wrap this up soon. In case you haven't noticed, I ran out of jokes back in 2022. I'm running on fumes and the script for this video is longer than my master's thesis. Even after I cut out a lot of VTubers and agencies since covering everything is impossible. I had to cut out a joke about how a bunch of JP VTubers tried to learn English when VTubing exploded into the West. They all gave up. All except one. Yukinoshita Pio. Like a Japanese VTuber learning English from zero to conversational in a span of like 2 years. What dark magic is this? But yeah, if I didn't mention any of your favorite VTubers or agencies in this video, it's because I'm trying to spite you personally. And if there is one thing you should take away from this video, it's that Western VTubing is a mistake. And you should listen to Forbidden by Rooney Roos and tell me if it's good. I need to know if I'm the only person who thinks it's the best VTuber song sung totally in English.